You guys ready? Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. What a great evening we're going to have. One of the great evenings is when we hire new officers, and tonight we're going to promote officers. That's it's a great night. So this is official Bristol Township Council meeting, October 20, 2022. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Please remember our officers, our service personnel who's here and overseas, or ones that did not come back, and also for a former councilman, John Monahan, and former mayor. He's not doing real well, so please attention on that. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Again, it's great to see everybody. We've got a full house tonight. We need roll call.
President Boehm.
Here.
Vice President Murphy.
Present.
Mr. Antonello.
Here.
Mr. Blaylock.
Here.
Ms. Dunlap.
Here.
Mr. Glassen.
Here.
Mrs. Wagner.
Present.
Before the start of the meeting, we met in executive session. Mr. Flagger.
Mr. President, Council, we met in executive session prior to this meeting. We discussed police labor negotiations, grievances, personnel matters, and various litigation matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Monthly reports are available for review in the Township Manager's office. Public comments will be taken on land development and official action items. General comments will be taken during opportunity for residents to address council. Next, we have presentation. We have Chester Stone. Chester's not here? Chester. Well, I have a plaque for him. All right. What's that? Okay. That's true. He might be a few minutes late. Okay, next we have Lower Bucks Hospital event updates. Is Lower Bucks here? Hi, how you doing? Come on up, push that little button down and make sure it goes green.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you for having me. My name is Lorena Rodriguez, and I'm the community person for the hospital. I want to talk about the events that we have. We have the trunk or treat in October 28th, 4 to 7. It will be at the parking lot at the hospital. If it rains, we'll do it inside. If you're interested in being part of it, please text 267-987-1770 or 832-338-1399, so you can have a card with us, or if you want to donate some candy, just drop it at the hospital. And then we have another event too. We have a Veterans Day breakfast celebration at the hospital. This will be November 11, 9 to 11. We will have a small ceremony at the beginning outside, and then the breakfast will be inside. We're going to be providing to the new booster, the Vivalant booster for the veterans. So if you guys are interested, please stop by and let's celebrate all your great services. So thank you.
Thank you. Is everything posted on the website, on Lower Bucks website?
No, in the website, but on social media and Facebook and everything.
Okay.
Yes. But if not, I will give my cell phone again as 832-338-1399. So that's my work cell phone, so you can just call me or if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yes.
Next, we have Police Department promotions, and first up is Sean Cosgrove, Lieutenant. Going up, will be Lieutenant. Chief, great to see you. We have Chief Colton here, along with the Honorable Terry Hughes as Judge.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Again, I'd like to thank you tonight for all the support that you provide the police department over my 7.5 years here, and from the community as well. Tonight's a very happy night for the police department, for 3 officers reaching milestones in their career. All of them worked hard and earned this, and we'll start off first with Sergeant Sean Cosgrove. Going up. Sean was born and raised in Bristol Township. He attended Bristol Township Public Schools, K through 12. He graduated in 1990 and immediately enlisted in the United States Air Force. He served 4 years of active duty in 6 countries on 3 continents. He was honorably discharged in July of 1994 and began his police career in Bristol Township on January of 1995. Officer Cosgrove was promoted to sergeant in May of 2001. Sean has 3 adult children and lives locally. Lieutenant Cosgrove will command the patrol operations. At this time, I'd like to call Sean's son, Brad, up to hold the Bible. The ceremony will be conducted by Judge Terry Hughes.
Very well.
All right, we'll take this nice and slow. I, Sean Cosgrove,
I, Sean Cosgrove,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will enforce
and that I will enforce
the laws of the Commonwealth
the laws of the Commonwealth
of Pennsylvania
of Pennsylvania
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of Bristol Township,
of Bristol Township,
and I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties
the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
integrity,
integrity,
and honesty,
and honesty,
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
or ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
As a lieutenant with the Bristol Township
As a lieutenant with the Bristol Township
Police Department,
Police Department,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Hello, hello.
Whatever you prefer?
You do them all at once. Yeah.
Doing all at once? Okay. Okay, next is promotion of Sergeant Winnick to Police Lieutenant. CJ, come on up. Sergeant Winnick was born and raised in Bristol Township and attended Truman High School, graduating in 1997. He graduated from the Temple Police Academy in 2006 and began his career here in Bristol Township. During his career, he has been assigned as a member of the Bristol Township Traffic Safety Unit, the Bucks County Homicide by Vehicle Task Force, a field training officer within the police department, and a SWAT team leader, firearms instructor, and active shooter instructor. He was promoted to sergeant in 2019, assigned to police administration, responsible for supervision of the training function, narcotics unit, and criminal investigations division. Lieutenant Winnick will be responsible for the police department administrative and investigations services function. And at this time, I'd like to call up his father, Charles, who is a retired police officer himself, to hold the Bible.
I, Charles Winnick,
I, Charles Winnick,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth.
and that I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth
I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth
of Pennsylvania
of Pennsylvania
and the ordinances
and the ordinances ordinances
of Bristol Township.
of Bristol Township.
I would discharge my duties
I will discharge my duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
integrity,
integrity,
and honesty,
and honesty,
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
with a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
As a lieutenant with the Bristol Township
As a lieutenant with the Bristol Township
Police Department,
Police Department,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's that, Joe? Yeah, isn't it good?
And for the final promotion tonight, promotion of Sergeant,
Chief, is your button
yeah,
down?
it's
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Is it, do you hear it?
Okay.
Promotion of Sergeant Jason Mancuso. Officer Mancuso has been employed as a Bristol Township police officer since February of 2006. He has been a DARE instructor in Bristol Township schools and was assigned as an FTO where he trained and mentored new police officers. Officer Mancuso has provided first aid and medical training for the police department and organized the police department's Narcan initiative. In 2018, he became a federally certified motor carrier inspector, In 2020, Officer Mancuso was assigned to the police department's administration unit in a full-time traffic enforcement capacity. Officer Mancuso would like to thank his family, especially his wife, Joyce, and 3 children, his close friends, and his mentors here at the Bristol Township Police Department for supporting him throughout his career. And I look forward for Sergeant Mancuso to provide this type of mentorship to our officers starting tomorrow. Sergeant Mancuso will be assigned to Squad 1 of the Patrol Division. At this time, I'd like to call up his wife, Joyce, and family members to hold the Bible.
Look at the shirts. You need one more. Gotta even it
All
out.
right, here we go. You guys gonna behave yourselves? I, Jason Mancuso,
I, Jason Mancuso,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And I will enforce the laws
I will enforce the laws
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
and the ordinances of Bristol Township.
and the ordinances of Bristol Township.
And I will discharge my duties
I will discharge my duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
integrity,
integrity,
honesty,
honesty,
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
As a sergeant with the Bristol Township Police Department.
As a sergeant with the Bristol Township Police Department.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Bring them on.
Yep. Chief, Well, thank you again. Congratulations to our sergeant and lieutenants that moved up in rank. And we're going to go back on the agenda a little bit. We have Chet, known as Chet. Chet, I'm glad you could make it. Happy birthday. Also, his former name is. Thank you. Chester name? Yeah. Chester Stone. Chester, come on up. We have something for you. Yes, sir. Well, we want to honor your 50 years. Yes.
Lost count, did you?
Feels like
For
45,
your-
right?
Yeah, for your service to Bristol Township, Public Works, and the residents, we thank you for your service. And we appreciate you coming out tonight. We have this for you. I'm going to walk around and come up.
I only know because my daughter dances with
Okay.
that last name.
It's weird because I don't know if it's silent,
They did
you know?
pronounce, well,
Not that my
who
grammar.
knows, right? They'll forgive you anyway.
We'll find out.
50 years. We've had great managers here, had great bosses, but the cream of the crop, Randy, Charlie, my boss. Thank you. Thanks
Chet-
for putting up with me all these years. Well, Randy, you're lucky. You only had me for, how long you been here? 7 years. You didn't have me for the 43, but you're lucky. See y'all.
Thank you, Chet. Come on up. And who might you be?
Good to see everybody. It is, it's on. I got it. Just real quick, I can't say enough about Chet as a person, his character. All right. Charlie Durnley, Public Works Director for Bristol Township.
Go Charlie!
Thank you. You know, Chet's character is, I just can't, like I said, I can't say enough good things. He's a rare breed. Every morning I get a God bless you, and he's just one of the most genuine people that I know. Thankful to have him. But I do want to express my appreciation to you, Chet, for your achievement of 50 years of service to the township.
Thank you. Boss.
Yes. being employed 50 years in one organization is incredibly rare, and it's a major accomplishment. Your many years of service is a true testimony of your dedication to Bristol, and we value you for all your contributions over the years. I know I've only known you for a year and a half, but I've seen, through your loyalty, dedication, and your infectious, positive attitude, you are a big reason for this department's success. I think most of us would agree, council, management, the Public Works guys, that your generosity, humility, and kindness have been a source of inspiration and motivation for all of us through the years. Chet, congratulations, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
I'm gonna send y'all a bill for all those nice things y'all said about me. Better be marked paid in full.
Thank you, Chet. Congratulations. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Moving on the agenda, we have STD Associates, CO Reality Source, Michael Devork. No, that's right. Requesting sketch plan review for 2 proposed manufacturing buildings located at 805 North Wilson Avenue, Bristol, PA, tax parcel number 5-73-120. Hi.
Hi, good evening. Amy Farrell with Kaplan Stewart. We're the attorneys for the applicant here. This is a pretty straightforward sketch plan submission at this point. We are not looking for any action.
Right.
Just generally an update to to council on where the submission stands, and certainly available to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay.
So we've got up on the screen now the existing conditions for this property. It's an approximately, sorry, I just lost my notes here, a little under 25 acre site, currently industrial, already developed and active in that respect, and zoned for light and heavy manufacturing. So the proposal as submitted, if we could switch to the second slide, please. Thank you. The proposal as submitted is for 2 industrial buildings on the site. The existing small office building will remain. That building is currently occupied and we anticipate will remain so. As submitted, the proposal was for a 250,000 square foot building, which is the large, sort of long, thin building you can see across the top of this, the page, and then an additional about 100,000 square foot industrial building with all of the associated, of course, parking, loading, et cetera. We did receive comments from Gilmore and Associates, the township engineer, and we have made some modifications to the plan in response to that. If we could just go to the last slide, please. Thank you. The main modification was to reduce somewhat the square footage size of the largest building. So it's going from 250,000 square feet down to 230,000 square feet. And that's to allow for some additional truck turning areas and some outdoor trailer storage. As I said, we do have a review letter from the township engineer, primarily identifying, the additional information we will have to provide during land development, which of course we will do as part of the full land development submission. As it stands, this plan does not require any zoning relief, so it would be ready for preliminary final as soon as we submit, which we anticipate doing shortly. With that, I'm again happy to answer any questions that you might have. We do have with us this evening Michael Dvorak, who's the property owner, and Brian Myers with Land Corps, who are the engineers.
Do you need any waivers?
We will likely need a few waivers. I think most of them are going to be, preliminary final, not showing all
Scale,
of the,
to scale.
exactly, those kind of things, some of the smaller ones. There may be a few other waivers as we go through the full engineering. That will be submitted with a waiver request letter as part of preliminary final.
What's on this property right now?
There is, so if we could go back to that first slide, please, Randy, thank you. There is existing, as you can see across the top of the slide here, those are all existing industrial buildings currently, all fully occupied. So it is already an ongoing concern in terms of an industrial site, has been for many, many years, is occupied, fully leased currently. So there's already industrial activity on the site. This will allow us to kind of clean that up, tighten it up a bit, and expand some of the industrial use. You can see along the left-hand side, just to the right of the roadway that you see there, there's a smaller rectangular building. That's that existing office building that's currently, again, fully leased and will remain.
Okay.
Is there stormwater management already on it, or no?
I don't know that, Brian, is there much in terms of?
No, sorry.
Brian can answer that question.
Yeah, Brian Myers with Landcore Engineering. Yeah, obviously, this property was developed many, many years ago, so one of the big key things that we'll get through the land development process is updating the stormwater management.
Okay.
There's a lot of green areas on the sketch plan identified. We haven't gone through all of the studies yet, but certainly will be many upgrades in that regard.
And the existing tenants that you have there, what's going to happen with that? They're going to re-engage in the new property, or?
That's a sort of as yet to be determined. The site is fully leased. Several of those leases are up within the next couple of years. So there's an expectation that some may be interested in staying and others may, choose to go somewhere else in the meantime. But I'm sure as you've heard, industrial and manufacturing is the hot and really only development
Yes.
of interest right now.
Other than the fact, that's great. We'd like to see that as opposed to warehousing.
So, 80%, as most people know, 80% of the taxes on that property will go to schools. And which would be a super upgrade, because it'll get all reassessed.
Sure.
So to submit the plans, we are open 8 to 4:30. And,
we'll be here tomorrow morning.
Yes, so, without having any very little variances and zoning, just
Good.
get it going.
Great.
Yep,
All right, the school will be happy.
Perfect.
we'll be happy.
Well,
Best of luck with that project. It's a great location. Good,
We'll see you shortly. Thanks, everybody.
good.
So next, we have public hearing and ordinances. So what's next on the agenda? We're going to actually continue what's on the agenda. Do we have to get, we have to get sworn in before we, no. Oh, okay, blight recommendations.
Blight.
I got so much scribbles here. Yes.
Bo knows blight.
Bo, good to see you.
Good evening,
You want
guys.
to
How are you?
introduce yourself and so the people at home can know who you are? And
Bo Fleming, Bristol Township Building and Planning Supervisor. Here tonight, going to be presenting 8 homes. I have packets for you. I know it's difficult to see sometimes. You can follow along.
Thanks, Bo.
Okay, so as I said, we're presenting 8 homes tonight. These 8 homes, they've already been voted on by our Blight Committee and Planning Commission as well. There was 9 on, we reduced 1 in contact with that individual, hopefully selling the home within this month. First on the agenda, we have 1 James Street in Levittown. This is actually located, for those of you who know, Dairy Delight off of 13. Not many people know that James Street has 1 home on it. This is the sole home on that street. It's a corner property, very large lot. We stickered that code enforcement and blight process letter on May 11th. It has been vacant for several months. I did have to go there with an officer. There was squatters there. We've been monitoring that property. No contact with any owner at this time. Township has been maintaining it as well this summer, cutting the grass, cleaning up the property, keeping it in good shape. Liens on that home as well, sorry about that, totaling $956 in liens so far on that property. Next slide was just showing exactly where that home was for those of you who do not know. Second slide after every information I will give you will just be photos of the home. This is how it depicts probably last month after a cut. Like I said, we've been maintaining it the entire summer. Next on the agenda, we will have 1109 Pennsylvania Ave. This was stickered June 8th of 2022. All mail returns back vacant, as do many of these homes on the agenda tonight. We have 0 activity at the house, no response. Unpaid taxes for 21, and we also have liens on the home totaling close to $2,500 at this time. Next property will be 84 Pumpkin Hill, Plum Ridge section. We stickered this on July 28th. The only reason we found out about this home, a neighbor called, said she was tired of cutting the lawn for the past 3 years. It's been vacant for over 3 years. So once we started taking that over, we've been maintaining that property. We do have approximately $1,500 in liens on the property. Everything comes back vacant, no contact with any owner or any estate, anything of that nature at this time.
But somebody's been paying the taxes.
Yes, at this time frame, yes. Yes. Next property on the list will be 7105 North Radcliffe Street. This one was relatively new to us. We did sticker this in June. We've had to deal with this property 2 times now with officers. Squatters were in there. We have had to board it up twice now. One, the squatters then took the plywood off. As it sits now, it's been plywooded, knock on wood, 2 months now. No one has broken in, no squatters, anything of that. We do have liens on that property. That was a very big cleanup we had. It seems that they left in a hurry. Whoever was staying there has not taken care of the rear of the property in well over 5 years. You have trees growing out of the in-ground pool. If you see the bottom right picture, that's actually an in-ground pool. So we never had complaints on this property. No one ever reached out to us. We finally found out from a neighbor once she saw a dumpster being delivered. They packed up and left. It hasn't come back since. Next property would be 30 South Lane. Stickered this in June. Mail gets returned back deceased. Township has been maintaining this property as well. We have no delinquent taxes at this time frame. We do have almost $700 in liens on the home due to maintaining it this year. We also have a pool in the rear of this property that is getting filled up with rainwater. The moment this winter comes, snow's not going to help with that at all either. Neighbors are very upset about the mosquitoes in the summertime due to the fact of stagnant water and no response at all to get this taken care of. That is actually in Stony Brook. It's on the rear end going into Kenwood, that side street. Yes. Next on the agenda, we would have 11 Sweetbriar. This is also in Stony Brook. This property, Robert McTagg, the individual that was dealing with the blight program before, he actually stickered this last year in March. He had contact with the individual, said she had plans for him. They have never followed through. I did just get contact recently from a realtor saying that she looks to list it. Bob has got that info last year as well, and nothing ever happened. At this time frame, we have no delinquent taxes. We were maintaining the property up until about a month and a half ago, when she decided she was going to hire someone to maintain it on her own. This is a daughter that lives in New Jersey, but has not done a thing to the home since she has taken it over. This property on 11 Sweetbriar, every time I go down that street, it seems that everybody's doing work, upgrades. The house to the left of it just put in a brand new roof, brand new siding. It looks great. The house to the right of it just got a whole flip as well. The entire street is being flipped, I guess you could say, redone, and this is in disarray, renovated. Next, we would have 431 Sycamore Ave in Croydon. We stickered this in June. Mail gets returned back deceased. This property, now information from the neighbors, the owner passed away, the son was living there, son packed up a couple months ago and never returned. We have been maintaining this property as well. No delinquent taxes at this time. We do have liens on the home. I believe from Google Earth that's been there since '09. Last on the agenda, we have 21 Woodbine. 21 Woodbine, the picture that you see in the front, that's how it looked before we had it cut. This property, we've stickered in May. I have dealt with this property since I've started here. In September of 2019, there has been warrants out since that time frame on this individual. The individual does not stay at the home. The home has been vacant now that we found out for probably the past 8 to 9 months. A neighbor called. The individual stays at another residence. She comes back, picks up the mail, and that's all we have. She does never maintain the property whatsoever. The only reason we found out is that it was vacant. We've gotten emails, pictures, and videos of raccoons going in and out of the home that were messing with other neighbors' properties. On the last slide, you can see the bottom right, the middle, top left, and the bottom left are all photos of how we cleaned it up after. That first photo depicts on how it sat for the last 3 years. And just to throw in, that was one of the raccoons that we found there.
Great job putting that together.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Very organized. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's no vote on that, right? We just. Right. So thank you
Good to go.
coming out, and we'll be handling that very shortly.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Have a
Thank
good night.
you for all your
Thank
good
you.
work.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have public hearing and ordinances.
Mr. President?
Yes.
We have a public hearing. They did not get to us the information. We don't have we have nothing to consider because, so what I would ask council is, as to aid an ordinance amending the Bristol Township zoning ordinance, Chapter 205, regulations pertaining to Article 18 to permit age-restricted housing alternative and to provide for dimensional and other regulations, that we continue this until the November 10th, 2022 council meeting. Motion is in order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello. Second by Joe Glassman on the motion. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? No.
No one opposed.
Okay, so unanimous? Okay. B, the next one, Mr. President, Council, is application of John McGrath, 1265 Woodburn Road, Levittown, PA, requesting conditional use approval in order to create an age-qualified residential community on the property located at 101 Greenbrook Drive, Levittown, PA, tax parcel number 5-72-133. Again, we don't have the material, and it needs to be continued until November 10th, 2022 council meeting. Motion is in order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello.
I'll second it.
Second by Ray Blaylock on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Finally, Mr. President, Council, application of John McGrath, 1265 Woodburn Road, Levittown, PA, requesting conditional use approval in order to create an age-qualified residential community on the property located at 10 Plumtree Place, Levittown, PA, tax parcel 521-162-001. Again, we don't have the material, and this needs to be continued to the November 10th, 2022 council meeting. Motion is in order.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello. Second by Joe Glassman on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Flagger. Yep. Go ahead. You're on a roll.
Yep.
Yeah, the public hearing is closed now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Next, we have an ordinance amending the Bristol Township zoning ordinance, Chapter 205, to include regulations for smoke shops and tobacco stores. Consideration, take appropriate action. Rainey Elton, do you want to, or Kurt, somebody want to just,
Well,
or
you want me
Randy?
to do it? You want to do it?
I don't smoke.
I don't smoke either. Currently, it's permitted as a conditional use in any commercial zoning district. So this is going to change that so that it comes before council, and it can only be, so they don't, it has to come before council.
Location.
Yeah, and it won't be, it's restricted so that, it creates a new retail use for smoke shops, certain restrictions on location zoning districts permitted as a conditional use, in the commercial zoning district only. Right now, you can use it in retail. It can be done in retail district,
Okay.
which you don't want, I don't believe. And this will be only used in a commercial district as a conditional use, which goes before council. Gives you more control.
Thank you for explaining that. So we need a motion?
I will make
You
that
do.
motion.
Motion by Joe Glassen, second by Mary Ann Wagner on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I just wanted to add, this was brought up and asked to be amended by our Director of Planning and Zoning, Bob Matee, because so many were coming in and popping up, and he was getting questioned. And I just want everybody, council is aware, our solicitors aware, our engineers aware, but a lot of people in the public and our residents aren't aware. If it's allowed by right and an application comes in, you have to issue
can't
a
control it.
UNO. That's, property rights and land use. And so it was because our director said, these are coming in one by one, right next to each other. It's overriding our communities, and we wanted to have a little bit more teeth and regulations to the ones that are coming in. And so by his recommendation, he's been working with our solicitor to make the ordinance a little bit more stricter.
To be clear, it's a quality of life issue for our community.
Next, we have an ordinance amending the Bristol Township zoning ordinance, Chapter 205, limiting properties to have a single principal use.
You want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I got it.
Okay.
This was also requested by our Director of Building, Planning, and Zoning. He had a lot of applications coming in for multiple uses in a building. So just to make this clear, this is not for multiple uses on a property. That is permitted still. This is multiple uses in a building. He was just concerned that buildings were getting chopped up with multiple uses and that there was no regulation for that, especially with different uses that weren't cohesive together. So that's why he wanted one singular use in a building, and that's what this ordinance regulates. But there are allowed multiple uses on a property still by
Thank you.
ordinance.
Okay. We need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cindy Murphy.
I'll second.
Ray will second it.
I'll second.
How you doing down there?
Good.
How's things going? Good. Down at the end. And we have a motion by Ray Blaylock. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, it's still allowed by variance. I mean,
Right.
you can submit for a variance, but by right, you have to come in with a reason or a request.
That makes more sense
Yes.
to me. That
This is a
that-
zoning ordinance.
Yeah, because I can, yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I'm working it through and I'm thinking, but that makes sense. Because there are those circumstances right now out there, I think. This doesn't take them away. I know, I know that, yeah. Got it. I'm okay with that.
Next, we have the consent agenda. We're going to move along here. Consider approval of voucher list and requisition dated October 2022, an amount of $3,606,745.94. Consider approval of September 15, 2022 council minute meetings. Consider revised resolution for official sewage facilities planning module for 130 Walnut Avenue, Bristol. Consider resignation of Lower Bucks Joint John Monahan. Consider appointment of James Morgan. Consider resolution declaring 1 James Street, Bristol, 19007, tax map number 05-074-227-001 as blighted, according with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 11 Sweetbriar Lane, Levittown, 19055, tax parcel number 05072-363 as blighted in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 20 South Lane, Levittown, 19055, tax map number 05-072-193 as blighted in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 21 Woodbine Road, Levittown, 19057, tax map number 05037-114 as blighted when in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 84 Pumpkin Hill Road, Levittown, 19056, tax map number 05-021-218 as blighted in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 431 Sycamore Avenue, Croydon, 19021, tax map number 007-024 is blighted in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 1109 Pennsylvania Avenue, Croydon 19021, tax map number 05-012-018 as blighted in accordance with the urban redevelopment law. Consider resolution declaring 7015 North Ratcliffe Street, Bristol 19007, tax map number 05-074-272 as blighted in accordance with the urban development law. And last but not least, consider resolution for a handicap place card sign for installation at 5611 Fleet Wing Drive. We need a motion on that. We have a motion by Mary Ann Wagner, and who's second?
I'll second.
Second by Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, is there any questions on all that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have a report from Township Manager.
Thank you, President Bowen.
You're welcome.
Take a drink. So, as you heard, the few applications for the conditional use and the zoning ordinance were continued. They were continued to November 10th. We'll be getting a public notice out saying that our November meeting will be changed from November 17th to November 10th. We did, Bob Lebo, our Director of IT, Superior, is back, and he did fix the microphones. So we should be able to, everybody at home should be able to hear better from the rebroadcast. Yeah.
I will say, last night we watched the planning.
And you can hear better.
Perfect.
And that's why I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention,
Yes,
and we
it
can
was
thank Mr.
normal.
Lebo.
And last month, he fixed my key fob.
Yes, yeah.
He's
Well,
the bestest.
He's the bestest.
Fob, if the fob doesn't work.
Want to remind everybody that this Saturday is our annual Fall Fest that was rescheduled from the horrible weekend of rain that we had a couple weeks ago. So 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have a wonderful amount of vendors, about 55 vendors, full park full of inflatables, bounce houses, food trucks. Have a food truck alley of probably about 7 food trucks, seating and area behind the amphitheater. Our Park and Rec department has worked very hard. We thank our sponsors very well. Thank you, of course, to Flagler and Associates and Gilmer and Associates and all those that have sponsored. You know, we look forward to everybody coming out and having a great time. Everything is free. Thank you again to our sponsors.
Except for the food trucks.
Except for the food trucks. The food trucks, yes, you do need to pay individually to the food trucks, but all the events for the kids are free. Obviously, if you want to get anything from the vendors, you have to pay for the vendors. But we do look forward. Very exciting. It's in service starting tomorrow, but we will have on show our brand new fire truck that we had capital budgeted last year and this year. So our brand new fire truck is in service. Our fire department worked on it all day to transfer over everything from the existing to the new fire truck today. So that is very, very exciting. And that will be at the Fall Festival. So I know that's very exciting for our crew. The last thing is we had just had our wonderful promotions for our 2 lieutenants and sergeant. And as we continue to have officers retire and we hire more officers, we just hired 7 additional officers to join our department. We are actually a department of people that now we're hearing that out on the street and now in the academy that we are an exciting department to come to. And it's very nice to hear the change in the buzz out on the street. All of these officers have come to us with Act 120 certification already, which is exciting. 2 of them are in the academy now, but putting themselves through the academy. So that is a benefit to the township and the residents. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a report from Solicitor.
I have nothing further at this time. Go Phillies.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Next, we have new business. Any new business? It's old business. Okay, next we have application of PSIP Phyllis Drive LLC, Penwood Real Estate Investment Management LLC, 75 Islam Road, 4th Ward, West Hartford, Connecticut, requesting preliminary final lot line change approval for properties located in Anthony Circle, lot number 1, tax parcel number 5-52-96-007, and 1327 Menard Avenue, lot number 2, in order to relocate a portion of lot 1, M2 Heavy Manufacturing, to lot 2, R2 Residential. Consider and take appropriate action. Yep, that's the big industrial warehouse.
Yes, good evening, council. Before I start, is there any way we can zoom in at all? Good evening, council. Robert Kravitz on behalf of the applicant, PSIP Phyllis Drive LLC. We're here before you this evening to request preliminary final approval of a lot line change plan. If you take a look at this image on the screen, the lot line is being moved from, in this orientation, the left side and moving to the right. The property on the right side of the screen was part of a larger land development project that was previously before you and was approved. As part of that land development project, we intended to move this entire property line over to the property owners, thereby creating a larger buffer. At that time, some of the property owners didn't want to accept that additional land, and since then we've reached an agreement with this particular property owner, Cole, whereby they will accept this additional land, and we would like to move the lot line to accomplish that goal.
You've seen it?
Hi, you received a resolution from our office,
We did.
and it's acceptable to you, and you're prepared to
Yes.
sign it?
Yes, and we will comply with all conditions,
Okay.
and
Council action is in order.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Patrick Antonello, second by Sidney Murphy. On the motion, is there any questions on the lot line change? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Fellas.
Good luck.
Thanks for hanging in there. Just a little point of information, back in the day, the meetings would go for 4 or 5 hours, and you'd be at the end.
So you're
You're welcome. All right, thank you, good luck.
thank you very much.
Next, we have a consider resolution to transfer 2 school flasher signals. Oh, already? Oh, geez, I got these lines all over the place. Yeah, I'm trying to move forward. Yeah, bid for Beaver Dam Road Pump Station Replacement Project.
Thank you. So this, as we've been upgrading all of our pump stations, this one, as Kyle from Infomark says, gives him agita because we're down to 1 pump. So he's very happy that we're redoing this pump station. We had, if you can take a look, we have 2 bids in here, one from Blooming Glen and one from Pack 2. The low bid is from Blooming Glen at $688,770. This is unfortunately, the way that the bids are coming in. The next low bid, the only other bid, is at $1.1 million. So this is the way the bids are coming in. And actually, the $688,000 bid is about $250,000 higher than we anticipated about 6 months ago. So, we are fortunate to have the American Rescue Fund money, because that is the funding that we will be using. Motion is in order, and recommend Blooming Glen contract.
Motion by Sidney Murphy,
Want to second it?
second by Marcia Dunlap. Is there any questions on the bid? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you.
Will they, quick question on, I didn't want to hold up the vote, but what's the estimated start of this project?
Bless you. I think the anticipated time, because it is lead time for getting parts in, is February or March of 2023.
Okay. Sooner rather than later, yeah. Delay on this will only drive this cost up.
Well, we'll get the contracts in order.
No, that's what I mean, yeah, but,
Yeah, we'll
sign
get the
it.
contracts in order.
I know.
Next, we have a consider resolution to transfer 2 school flasher signals, flasher cabinets, and time clocks to the Borough of Morrisville. So,
So we received a phone call from the Public Works Director in Morrisville. These are from schools that we no longer are using, the flashers. So they asked if there was any way that we can donate these flashers to them, and we said, of course.
Oh, that's nice.
we need a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Joe Glassen, second by Marion Wagner. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have other business. Any other business? Comments from council members? Any comments?
It was a great night tonight.
Yes, what a great night. Thank you. Yeah, it's an enjoyable to be part of this.
But I want to make a comment too.
Go ahead.
Say Lonnie Gamble of the CAPA program in Greenlawn Park. His wife just passed away this
right.
Saturday, so that was her service. So I just
Ronnie.
want to say our thoughts and prayers is from Bucks County
Lonnie.
to Lycoming County for him at this time.
Yep. Yep. Thanks, Marsh. Next, we have opportunity for residents to address council. And the first one, we have Connie Mayer. Oh, Connie, good to see you. It's been a while.
It's nice to
Hi,
see
Connie.
everybody.
Thank you.
I'm here to address the application, I'm sorry? Oh, Stony Brook. I'm going. You ready? You ready? So I'm here to address the application of John McGrath to create an age-related residential community on the property located on 101 Greenbrook Drive. Now, that would be the former John Fitch property. I am thrilled. I've been a resident of Stony Brook since 1971. Some of the residents have been complaining about there's going to be increased noise because of the development, and I'm here to say that since 1971, I have heard school buses coming and going at John Fitch. I've heard kids playing there at recess. During the summertime, the Levittown Little Leagues have been there. It's been an active area for many, many years. And people said, well, the place is closed, it's nice and quiet. So I'm here to tell you about the quiet that we have at the John Fitch property. There's been vandalism, there's been fires in the building. 2 days ago, someone was sleeping on the benches near the field. 2 weeks ago, somebody was camping on the field itself. 2 months ago, someone was sleeping in the bus drop-off at Fitch. And 2 years ago, while walking the dog, I happened to stumble upon somebody sleeping in a sleeping bag in the woods. I'm thrilled it's going to be developed. In September, I heard the property was going to be sold, and I was concerned about the grass growing because the building's closed, the grass growing makes it seem abandoned. So I called up Bristol Township. My number was given to John McGrath. It was given to him on Wednesday. He called me up that day. He asked me what my concern was. I said, I'm afraid that property is looking pretty awful because of the grass. He said, I'll have it taken care of. Thursday, it was mowed. I'm thrilled it's going to be developed. So I called him back. I thanked him very much. I found out he had gone to Conwell Egan. He coached at Conwell Egan. He's the developer responsible for the Flowers Mill Shopping Center, the community across from the Flowers Mill Shopping Center, the community on Radcliffe Street, and he's also responsible for the St. Joseph the Worker community that had a waiting list for people to come in. Again, I'm thrilled it's going to be developed. Now, not only that, but Mr. McGrath informed me that the EMT Firefighters Park, which is also located adjacent to John Fitch, is going to be completely refurbished. Also, the basketball court will be completely refurbished, again at no cost. The new development will have security and lighting. I walk the dogs in the dark because there's no electricity now at John Fitch. And I'm going to have wonderful, new, quiet neighbors. I don't think any of those neighbors are going to have any ATVs. I don't think I'm going to have loud music. And I don't think I'm going to hear any more fireworks on the property.
But Connie.
So
it will-
again, no,
Connie,
don't, no, 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 no,
you
no, no,
can-
no, no, no. I want to tell you how thrilled I am.
I
I am
it.
absolutely thrilled. And I'm sorry it's been delayed since November the 10th. That's the only
Will
thing I
you
have a
be,
problem with.
will you be okay with electric bicycles?
I'm sorry?
Would you be okay with e-bicycles, electric bicycles?
Oh, maybe.
It seems like
maybe. They're going to have, Mr. McGrath told me that
No,
there's going to.
I am just kidding, because you said no
Mr.
quiet.
McGrath,
I am for it, because I bought one.
Mr. McGrath told me that there's going to even be a little jitney that'll take some of the senior citizens to the local shopping centers. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful. I am thrilled.
Thank you, Connie.
I'll believe that part when I see it.
The jitneys?
Yeah.
But isn't that wonderful? It's
It
wonderful.
sounds almost too good to be true.
Have you seen the St. Joseph, the worker development?
I have.
And have you seen the townhouses on Radcliffe Street?
All I'm
Uh-huh.
saying is, it sounds almost too
Connie,
good to be
before
true.
we run out of time,
Yeah, what?
you have something else you want to
No,
talk?
I'm
No?
done.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
done.
you, Connie.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Martina, just, come on up.
I'm Martina Hepp. I'm in Magnolia Hill, Myrtle Lane. All this talk about development is exactly why I'm here. Recently, I had an incident in my garage that I was pretty concerned about, which was a very big rat. And I wanted to understand what the council will do with the developers to mitigate the risk of these rats inhabiting our residential area.
Most specifically, when the buildings come down.
Correct. I'm speaking of when John Fitch goes down and they develop that property, when you have the other schools, the other two schools. In Magnolia Hill, I believe the reason that we have, I guess, observation of them is based on Falls Township doing the sewer lines in Elderberry. I can only tell you from experience, my sister lived in Willowwood when they tore down Levittown Shopping Center. All the rats ran down through
So we can
the
address that with
Greenbelt.
the developers to
I
get
only
ahead
had
of it.
one.
Get ahead of the rodents before they tear it down.
Okay.
So I agree with that.
I live one street up from the Greenbelt, so I'm assuming the reason that this inhabited my garage was based on the fact that it was one rat in my garage, 5 bowls of cat food stored in a corner.
Wow.
And he kind of lived in there, and he was as big as my husband's foot. I thought it was a squirrel until I called an exterminator, and he came and he took the rat out by shotgun, like pellet gun. I mean, that's how, yeah, well, to me it was a shotgun, but now I'm on record and everybody knows I had a rat in my garage, so for me to stand up and tell you this, it's not an embarrassing thing, it's definitely a concern for our elderly population in the area. They do bring disease, and I was hoping that, I'm all about wildlife. I feed the squirrels, I stopped squeezing, I did stop feeding them this year, but I feed the squirrels, I feed the birds. I have no problem with little mice at times, but when you have a rat, it definitely is a concerning thing. And also in Birch Valley, I have friends there. They're also experiencing them in their front yards, so the dogs are getting at them. So I definitely want to understand what can be done to mitigate it, whether it's, before we take down the building, some kind of traps
Right.
or
Roger
whatever
that.
needs to be.
That's out of my wheelhouse.
Okay.
We'll let the developers.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But
but
we
Also
will,
for the township, for the
Yes.
people in my section and the areas in which you're doing this development, I think that they should be aware and maybe set traps prior and we can alert them. I have information from the CDC to give everyone that you can post on your website on how to mitigate that and how to prevent them from coming in your home,
Thank you, Martina.
okay?
Thank you.
And I haven't had another one since, so.
Yep. Have a great weekend coming up.
No, I know she lived across the street from a house that was blighted and torn down that had a lot of wildlife in it. Yep, she lived across from Nine
At this
Mallow.
time, we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Um,
Motion by Joe Glass.
Second.
Second by everybody.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a great weekend,
Aye,
everybody.
aye, aye.
See you in a couple weeks.
Thanks for coming, Martina.